we've been working with Similarweb for about 18 months, and I'd like to talk you through kind of how we use data and insight to drive our contact lens category and our contact lens products in particular. So, bit of background. So I've been with Johnson & Johnson for just over 2 years, and before joining, I thought it was all about cotton wool and baby oil. It's actually more than that. So first lesson was, it's not all cotton wool and baby oil. The second lesson was, at J&J, we believe we have a purpose. And that purpose is really to drive global health. And we have a credo that was written over 75 years ago. It's not a mission statement that kind of gets written, put in a drawer, used for marketing every once in a while. It's carved into the walls of all of our offices. As I said, we're a 100-year-old business. Our credo is 75 years old. It's been there since the very start. And the first pillar of that credo is our responsibility and our commitment to those that use our products. So that's the doctors, nurses, patients, and everyone that uses our products. So in the 100 years, we've grown our business to $76 billion and employing over 100,000 people, all governed and all kind of lined up underneath this credo. So it's pretty crucial. So my second lesson, the third lesson I had was actually our consumer business, which has got brands like Johnson's Baby, Nicorette, Aveeno, Neutrogena, only accounts for 18% of our revenues. We also have a huge pharmaceuticals business and also a pretty chunky medical devices business, which is where Johnson & Johnson Vision sits. And we'll talk about Acuvue contact lenses in particular. So again, a few more stats. 50% of the world need vision correction, and actually only 10% of those people are treated today. By the middle of this century, 4.8 billion people will be suffering from myopia or being short-sighted, so this isn't an issue that's going away. And today, 100,000 people, 100,000 eyes are affected by cataracts, the number one cause of blindness that it actually is treatable in the world today. So vision is huge, and our purpose within Johnson & Johnson Vision is really to help people see better, live better, and connect better. So that pulls everyone together. To give you an idea of the scale of Acuvue contact lenses, every single year we make 4 billion lenses, and that's for about 50 million patients worldwide. That's a lot of contact lenses. So the category, really, really interesting category. I spent 10 years in telco before I came to Johnson & Johnson, and safe to say I've never known a category like it. Really, really interesting clinical product in a consumer world, but you can't just go and pick it off the shelf. So, and the opportunity, certainly in the UK, is growing that category. So today, only 15% of those people that need vision correction actually wear contact lenses. So lots of people are wearing glasses, but only 15% of those people wearing contact lenses. And I remember 17 years ago, playing fullback for my local rugby team, unable to see the high ball coming towards me, very able to see the 18-stone opposition player running towards me. Luckily, I was quite fast, but that's when my life changed and I started wearing contact lenses. So 17 years in the category, we need to drive the penetration, especially when you consider America or Japan and also some countries in the Nordics where that penetration is much, much, much higher. We launched the first soft contact lens 30 years ago. So they're not made of glass, they're not hard, they're flexible, they're comfortable, you shouldn't even feel that you're wearing them. So the technology and the materials has really, really moved on in 30 years. Also worth pointing out that we don't sell any of our products directly to consumers, so we work with opticians and retailers across the UK to help people get into our product, use them safely, upgrade, move on to the latest, greatest technology when they need to. Presbyopia. Has anyone ever heard of the term presbyopia? One person. It sounds like a terrible, terrible, terrible disease. It's actually a natural part of aging. As your eye gets older, you start being able to not be able to focus closely, the close-up as easy as you used to, and you'll find in your 40s for the first time, maybe for the first time ever, you'll start reaching for glasses. So presbyopia, it happens to everybody, it's totally normal, but no one's ever heard of it. So multifocal contact lenses are an alternative to varifocal glasses, and it's the fastest growing segment of the category today. Just because your vision has changed doesn't mean your life has to change. So the journey, pretty interesting journey. This is unlike anything else I've ever come across before. As I said, clinical product in a consumer world, but you can't just go and pick it off the shelf. So it always starts with someone needing some vision correction. And typically, the default setting is, here, have some glasses. Glasses are great. But sometimes glasses aren't that practical. Playing sports, snowboarding, motorbiking, going out, maybe changing your look. So people started to look at, okay, researching contact lenses. Where do you go? Go online, talk to your friends, talk to your optician, lots of places. Normally, you have to go and have an appointment with an optician. Look at your eye, measure your eye, because everyone's eyes is different. So you'll have this consultation. You'll then be given some trial lenses, taught how to put them in, given some trial lenses, and off you go. You've got a week or two, work it out. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, you'll be back in, optician, sit down, see how it's all going. And then you're signed off, and your life with contact lenses and glasses continues. Maybe not difficult to understand that actually poking yourself in the eye, putting something in your eye is not a natural behavior. This whole process might take you maybe 2 weeks, 2 months, end to end. In that 2 weeks or 2 months, probably only 2 to 3 hours will have been spent in the store. So that means you're out of the store, flying solo, all alone, trying to figure this out. And our industry used to focus on what happens in the store. Crucial, it's critical, it's a clinical experience, it's your eyes. But actually, modern technology means that we can now support and engage consumers when they're not in the store. When they're at home, 10 o'clock at night, trying to take a contact lens out, how are we going to support them? And that's where we've really focused on supporting the consumers outside of the stores, so they understand contact lenses and can get help and support when they need it. So, how we use data. So we've never had a shortage of data. As I said, we've been selling contact lenses now for 30 years. But we needed to understand the online to offline customer journey. It was crucial. And like every big business, we have this really well-established process where we gather the best data we can find from multiple sources. We use that to create really compelling insight. And from that compelling insight, strategy that addresses that insight, and then we can execute a plan. Works really well, has worked really well for years and years, and it's been the basis of our success. However, in an omni-channel or multi-channel world, our data didn't cut it. So we needed to look at alternative sources to try and bridge this gap and understand what was going on between offline and online. So today we work with Facebook, Google, GfK, Similarweb, and create our own data as well, generate our own research to try and piece this journey together. So it's not one source of data, we integrate everything together to try and understand what's going on in this customer experience. And what we realized, the crucial thing was that we needed to connect consumers with content. As I said, we don't sell products, so we had to create great content that we could send directly or share directly with consumers, but also give to our retailers as well. So it's absolutely crucial to kind of understand where our audience or potential audience were hanging out. Which sites were they visiting, which online resources were they using, how they were using it, and what content really resonated with them. So that's where we use Similarweb. We also really changed the way we marketed. So we became much less clinical and much, much more relatable. So what you're seeing here is a series of short videos kind of mashed together, but these videos are around presbyopia. And it's actually promoting our multifocal contact lens product. But you'll see there's no reference to presbyopia. There is some reference to contact lenses, but it's actually really, really, really relatable. So presbyopia we don't use, customer-facing. We use the long arm syndrome, because that's what people have seen when you're trying to struggle to read back of a jam jar or read a menu in a dark restaurant. It's all around that kind of long arm syndrome. It's much, much more relatable. So once we created this great content, much shorter format than anything we've done in the past, not pages and pages of text, we then had to think of and look at the best places to get this out in front of our audience. So earlier on this year, we relaunched our own website, acuvue.co.uk. It's a mobile-first site, so it's unlike our old site. It really, really works on mobile. We're probably getting a 60-40, 70-30 split of mobile traffic to our site. We also launched our social channels as well. So we have some great ambassadors in Katarina Johnson-Thompson, working with Sarah Cox as well. So we have these great ambassadors, and we took the opportunity to really beef up our presence online, in particular in social channels. So, quick summary on kind of what we did and how we got there. It really, really was important to find the best data possible, and from a variety of sources. We didn't throw away all the data that we had before and all the insight we had before, but we needed to kind of combine them together. And my advice is really share it as much as you can. The more people see the data, the more people challenge it, question it, the more comfortable they will be using it. Use that data to create really, really compelling insights. You know, it's so easy just to grab a fact and run with it. Challenge there is, what do you actually do with that fact? If it's too easy to find, it's probably a fact. It's not really compelling insight. And then, done well, if you ground everything in that insight as well. So for us, it was our marketing, it was our online capability, the collaborations and the partnerships we signed was all going back to that compelling insight that we initially uncovered and created, and the whole business kind of got behind. So if you're wearing glasses, squinting a bit, can't see the screen, go to your optician, ask them about contact lenses, ask them about Acuvue contact lenses, and that would make me very happy. Thanks very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Amazing. So I hope that any of you that are currently wearing contact lenses might think about switching them soon to a different brand, maybe. Colin, thank you so much. It was really amazing to see how you kind of think of your customer journey through the lens of market intelligence. Something that's really interesting and fascinating for me is to understand, what do you know now about this end consumer that you never knew before?
What we knew before was that customers didn't really, or potential wearers of contact lenses, didn't really talk to their opticians. So they were waiting for the optician to say, hey, why haven't you tried contact lenses? The optician maybe is waiting for the customer to say, can I try contact lenses? So you've got this kind of Mexican standoff situation. What we found was that there was so much traffic and volume going to sites to learn about contact lenses, ask questions, lots of myths, lots of fears. Actually, we knew that there's an opportunity here for us to kind of go after that, go after those potential customers and engage them with content that's really valuable to them. So that was really, really, really awesome.
Amazing. Amazing to understand how you're kind of creating that direct relationship when often it's a little further removed.
Absolutely.
The other question that I had, many people in the audience here are the ambassadors for Similarweb in their organization, or they the person that's maybe been using our free tool to try and hack some new insights and initiatives. How is someone in a pretty old organization, I'd say, how have you gone about kind of spreading the word internally and getting people to see the light?
So, as I said, we've been using Similarweb now for about 18 months. And initially, the data's awesome. It's like, oh, cool, we know some stuff that we didn't know before. We started to get real traction when we started to apply it to our strategy, linking it with our other data sources, linking it and developing some really new insight that could be actioned. Mm-hmm. So it was all about the pretty graphs to start with. People go, oh, that's really interesting. But it was all about what's behind the pretty graph. You know, how can we link that? Oh, we've seen that. We've done some mystery shops. We've got some other information. Piecing it all together so it's actually actionable. That was where we had a massive turning point as an organization.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think that really picks up on what Jason was saying about how do we operationalize this data, right? It's all very well and good to look at a pretty graph that might tell our story, but it's really when you put it into action that makes the key difference.
Absolutely.
Awesome.